Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's 4 a.m. bright and early for a Saturday morning here in Connecticut on the East Coast. All right, I was thinking, I was in my head, I was joking around, so thinking of saying, welcome to a kinder, gentler artist in recovery, but I have no intention of being kinder or gentler. Not that I'm unkind, not that I think I'm unkind, but maybe a little wiser, maybe a little bit more introspective or objective. All right, I just want to say this one thing. I know you guys came here. I know a lot of you, like I said before, I know a lot of you guys came here because of your followers of Beau the Fifth Column. And my thing is talking about social. I feel very strongly about social issues and political issues, and I have no intention of changing that whatsoever. I'm going to continue talking about that. So I don't want you to think I'm changing my format whatsoever. It's just not being monetized. I just want to take advantage of that. And occasionally, here or there, talking about a few different things. Like, I'm not under the time constraints as much, under the 10-minute limit, because, you know, they insert a commercial at 10 minutes, I believe. So I've been trying to, you know, so my time constraints have loosened up. I'm more free to make shorter or longer videos. I won't get into all that, but it's just, I have a little more freedom for the next month. You know, not in saying rude or terrible things or anything, but just a little more freedom. And once or maybe one video or here or there, I'm going to throw in stuff that I wanted to talk about for a long time, maybe personal stuff or art stuff, just here and there. If you don't, you know, if you don't want to hear that, just don't, you know, don't watch the video. But I'm not going to change the format whatsoever. So everybody that came here, because you like Beau the Fifth Column, I consider him a mentor. You know, I'm not trying to copy or, you know, I'm sure you guys know that by now. I'm not trying to copy anything, but I admire. Even before I came across him, I was in a similar vein. And once I came across him, like I said, I look to him as a mentor, somebody who I respect, who has a lot more knowledge of politics and YouTube videos than I do. So anyway, all right, now you can see behind me, a lot of people asked about artwork, and I'm thinking about featuring it behind me so it won't interfere. You know, you'll still get the social and political talk, but you guys can see it, you know, maybe briefly. I'm not sure how I'll do it briefly. I'll move out of the way. I got different abstracts. I got one here. Nobody likes this one. It's a face. And a lot of people don't like that one. The abstract, I love this one. I made the frame myself and painted it. This is a pastel version of one of my most successful paintings. I call it like Shadow Trees, and it's one of the most successful ones I do. These are the most I've sold the most of this. It's a light coming up on the other side of a hill through a forest, and it's like a mystery. People seem intrigued by this. This one I made for a silent auction to buy Narcan, to donate Narcan. And because of COVID-19, the auction was never held, and I never got a chance to donate this one. My thought here was reaching out from the darkness of addiction into the light of recovery. You know, that's it. It came right to me. It's a very strong image I had. And over here, this is the latest one I did. Now, my family, I didn't think this, but my family believes, I thought it maybe looked like an abstract flower painting. I love it. This is one of the newest painting I did. My family thinks it looks like COVID-19. You know, I don't know. I don't think my family gets me sometimes. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that. And I used a very interesting technique. I used blown air, forced air, to make some of these images. My own technique. All right. Anyway, enough of the art stuff. All right, let's get right into it. Okay. I'm going to be more careful on how I address people. I'm going to say the pillow guy. I'm going to talk more about the pillow guy. Okay. So on one of these far-right news networks, I'm going to be careful because, like, I noticed that Beau the Fifth Column is very careful. He doesn't say a lot of names, a lot of proper names. He's very careful with that. And I think I'm going to do that too, because the reason I got flagged was for hateful or harmful content. It almost insinuated that I was bullying. And the last thing I grew up being bullied, and the last thing I ever want to be flagged as is a bully. So I'm going to be more careful on how I address people, but I'm still going to have my, my opinions, and I'm still going to talk about it. So I'm going to try to walk this fine line. All right. So I'm going to use the term the pillow guy. The pillow guy. All right. So I looked back at my videos, and it really, this little month-long timeout that YouTube AdSense, Google AdSense has given me is really helping me like I first believed. I got to be honest with you guys. After the inauguration, I think, you see CNN's ratings drop, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think in the back of my head, I was a little more aggressive in the titles of my videos to get attention. I'll be honest with you guys. I think I did that, and it might have been conscious, a little subconscious, but because one of the biggest topics I had was the crummy job that Donald Trump was doing as president, and now he's no longer president. And in my conscious mind, there's still plenty that I feel very strongly about: social issues, reforming police, everything going on with police incidents across the country, racial incidents. I feel very strongly about that, about the environment, about the extremism in our political spectrum. So there was no need for me to do this, but I think subconsciously in the last month, when I went back and objectively stood back and looked at my titles of my videos, I saw it. I had up the ante, so to speak, especially with the pillow guy, and I did not see this. I did, if they hadn't flagged me and to give me this month off, I would have never, I probably would have continued down this road. So I am sincerely grateful. If anybody caused this or set this in motion, you did me a favor. All right. I was kind of aggressive in a couple of the pillow guy's videos I did, where I talked about his book. And there was one title that I can't believe I even used. I don't want to repeat it, but I've changed it already. And I'm glad I had a chance to go back and review these. Some of the, I think the titles of my videos in the last month got a little aggressive. Okay, so let's talk about the pillow guy. Let's talk about him. All right, see, it's not going to change. I'm just going to approach it from a more advertiser-friendly perspective. All right, the pillow guy. So he's got a 3-hour infomercial now with all of his theories about algorithms and machines and China and the deep whatever. And it's a 3-hour video. Now, we're only given so many days in our lives, right? And in those days, there's only so many hours. And I'll be damned if I am going to waste 3 hours of my limited lifetime to watch the pillow guy's infomercial. So honestly, I watched a bunch of clips from Twitter, and it just seems like a bunch of nonsense. It really does. If there's anything out there that was significant, that showed any fraud or deep state spy stuff where the voting was hampered or changed or whatever, I'd want to know about it. I don't want to live in that kind of country. I would aggressively seek that out if I could find it, and I can't find it. So he talks about the machines and algorithms, and then he has this one very unbelievable woman that was in court about a month and a half ago. I don't want to mention her name. She was in front of Congress testifying, and it was a joke. So he's got her in this infomercial saying how she saw nothing. She worked for 8 or 10 or 12 hours straight and just saw nothing but Biden votes. Not one single Trump vote. Not once. Now, I have a hard time believing that. I do. If I could see that with my own eyes, that'd be one thing, but I don't believe her. I don't believe her just like I don't believe Giuliani. All right, so in hindsight, I don't see anything new. It really appears that the pillow guy's 3-hour infomercial is just a strung out version. I don't see any new evidence. It's just a strung out, long-winded version of what he's been spewing in news clips and sound bites for the last 3-4 months. That's my opinion of this. All right, let me talk about Trump a little bit. So Raskin, I think, is the person that's prosecuting the impeachment. Representative Senator Raskin? I'm not sure. Raskin, I believe his name is, all right. And this guy is good. I've been reading about his tactics and the letter that he sent to Donald Trump inviting him to testify. And I was reading, I don't know a lot about legalese, about legal tactics. But from what I understand, this was kind of a gambit to put Trump in between a rock and a hard place, and it's kind of set up to use Trump's own personality against him. It's kind of tempting him, kind of challenging him to testify. It's setting him up for a trap, basically. And Donald Trump is the kind of guy that you could tell him it's a trap and challenge him, and he'll still go for it just because he can't resist. You know, he needs to defend that pseudo macho exterior. So you could put a bear trap in front of him, and he's still going to tell him it's a bear trap, and he's still going to walk through it, thinking that he's so manly it won't hurt him. That kind of person. So it's challenging him to either testify, or they're going to assume that by pleading the Fifth, that he is saying that his First Amendment, his freedom of speech might open him up to criminal charges by pleading the Fifth. So it's challenging him. They call it gambit. It's putting him between a rock and a hard place. And we're going to see how this works. This guy, Raskin, I got to read more up on him. Trying to understand legalese and all this stuff, it takes a while. I've had to reread these articles like 3-4 times this morning, just trying to understand what I just told you. All right, now on the humorous side, Donald Trump has resigned himself from the Screen Actors Guild. Apparently, they were going to kick him out anyway. You guys know he was in Home Alone, The Apprentice, a couple other movies. So he sent them a letter, and I gotta laugh. It was typical Trump. He insults the president of the Screen Actors Guild, a woman, saying he doesn't. It's so stereotypical. He insults her by saying, "I don't really know who you are. You're a nobody, but I don't have the time for your little group anymore. So I'm out of here." It's sad. It's so sad by this time. He knew that they were going to kick him out of the Screen Actors Guild. So he sends this letter saying, "You guys are a bunch of nobodies, and I don't want to play with you guys anyway. You guys suck. I'm taking my ball and going home." Again, I got to ask you Trump supporters, man, how can you be, the guys that are still supporting him, how can you proudly fly these flags and say this, when he I don't get it, man. All right, moving on. This other interesting thing. Apparently, this has come across in a few different articles. Trump does not want to be called the former president. He does not. That's an insult to him and his narcissism and arrogant personality. Once again, he's required everybody, his legal team and anybody that refers to him, Mike Pence, everybody, to call him the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump. This long-winded mouthful. He's requiring people to say that. Anybody around him, anybody in his circle that wants to be near him, to be in his orbit, to be in the wonderful orbit of Donald J. Trump, they're required to refer to him as the 45th president of the United States and never say the former president. Once again, you guys, just an example of just rampant narcissism here, man. And what does it say about the people that worship this guy, when he is so clearly flawed and pathetic? I don't know. Hey, all right, here's another new part of my video. I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I wish I did. Remember how yesterday I talked about giving you guys something, giving the viewers something in every video, trying to give you guys something, and I got something for you guys. Yesterday, a couple times during my day, Yesterday when I was at a recovery clinic, there's a nursing staff there, and I talked to a couple nurses, and I got some of this from them, and they're not sure about this. And I saw it on the show The Doctors now, too. It's for people that have lost their taste and smell due to COVID-19, okay? There's this thing on it became famous on TikTok. It's a solution, a remedy. Now, it sounds like one of those old wives' tales or, one of those things. But apparently, there's a lot of people that say it works, and the doctors have reasoning as to why it works. Okay, you take an orange, you put it on a skewer, and you put it over the oven, put it over like a burner, and char it, an orange, okay? Let it char black. Let it cool down. Not cool down, wait. So you open it up after it's got to still be warm. Obviously not hot because you're going to eat it, but, very warm. Put brown sugar on it and then scoop it out of the char, the orange, and eat it. Sounds ridiculous, but the show The Doctors, now if you guys Google this, the show The Doctors, they talk about it on there too. And like I said, I heard this a couple times yesterday. This actually seems to work. It kind of reboots your sensory nerves, your sensory, to your brain, to your nose, to your mouth, by providing like all the senses, like sour, sweet with the sugar, the char, the tartness of the char. And apparently there's something to it. So if you've lost your taste or smell through COVID-19 or through anything else, here's a solution that's easy to try. It's cheap, and it sounds like it's worked for a lot of people. On The Doctors, they presented the idea that it might be the placebo effect too. And if you believe it and it works, then it works. But there was there's a lot of people saying that this works. They've tried it, and then they drink coffee or whatever after, and they can taste and smell again. It's charring, heating up, like I just said, heating the orange so it's black and charred. Opening it up, putting brown sugar on it, and scooping it out and eating it. While it's still warm, obviously not burning your mouth. But so there's a little bit of advice for you guys, something I can offer you guys. All right, I hope you've enjoyed my video. It's run a little longer than usual. I hope you stayed to the end for that little piece of advice, and I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a great Saturday.